Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
The Restricted Area Permit, or RAP, was considered to be one of the major hurdles in promotion of tourism in the Northeast. The Union government has finally decided to withdraw the Restricted Area Permit from Assam, Meghalaya and Tripura. Together with this, calculations and planning about the tourism development is being discussed on every platform.
And as per our expectation, with the withdrawal of this Restricted Area Permit, we can expect about 5 million domestic tourists and 0.5 million foreign tourists by the end of the century. So for that we have to be ready, and we have to do aggressive marketing in abroad also.
In Assam, I'm afraid I don't. All I knew about Assam before was tea.
As long as tourism isn't becoming a main industry, and as long as we can get close to see how people live, what the culture and what the religion is, then it can only be good, because it will allow people to understand better your particular country.
Even though you have gone through very difficult procedures to obtain all the permits that you think you need, even when you arrive at a border, say coming from Bhutan, the authorities still make it not so easy for you to come through. It takes a long time.
We have a great disadvantage because the foreign traders cannot come here. There is a restricted area permit, and restricted area permit is not given quite often. What they do not refuse also. They keep the papers pending, applications pending, and make the foreign buyers sweat it out, and ultimately they give up. Restricted area permit has been the most important impediment in our growth and in export of tea.
The opening up of a region will bring in the backpackers, and there will be a false increase in the number of tourists that are coming, because up until now it's almost impossible for an individual to go to an Indian embassy or consul and obtain permission to come into the Northeast.
As long as, of course, we don't put too much strain upon the water resources, the food, the lives of other people, the sanitation. I mean, it would be terrible if we came in and increased the problems that maybe are there. We have a responsibility.
Removal of RAP from these states will encourage foreign investments in these industrially backward states. Assam, Meghalaya and Tripura, with abundance of natural resources, are ideal states for investments.
Anything that cuts down the bureaucracy, and I think you have to realise that, I'm sure you do, that Indian is quite a bureaucratic nightmare in which to do business, and anything that cuts down on the paperwork or the amount of time that passports need to be at embassies and the amount of work that needs to be done in the office to get special permissions to go to places, then that must be an advantage. But equally, I can be a little bit selfish and say it's good for me to come to Assam because very few people in the West have come here.
No, we got the visas in London before we came, very efficiently. The Indian High Commission in London stamped all our passports for us, and it was no problem at all.
Now you know that we have got 18 overseas tourist offices all over the world. So with that outlet, we are going to organize some special campaigns with some aggressive publicity. Recently, we are thinking of that nostalgic trips in UK. So we want to tap the UK market also. Those people who have walked in the tea gardens of Assam and other places, so their forefathers, they have already walked during the British period. So those people, their relatives, we can tap those market also. So they can come and they can stay in the tea gardens
The demand for the withdrawal of rap had come mainly from the tea and tourism industry. Tea is one of the biggest industry of Assam. The tea merchants had repeatedly expressed their concern over rap.
Some of the states are very good at attracting tourists to those places. Obviously Rajasthan or Goa or the south, and they don't seem to have any problems in attracting large numbers of visitors, but it means that it's not that adventurous anymore. It's quite easy for people to come to Goa for 2 weeks and enjoy what there is there, but it's not very adventurous. And so from our point of view, we're always looking to go to places that are a little bit different, and it will take a long time.
Now that the union government has finally decided to scrap the restricted area permit, it now depends entirely on the state governments to draw up schemes to promote tourism and attract foreign investments.
Whether it be a change of season or a milestone in life, it is the human instinct to celebrate, and mostly through music and dance. The performing arts of Mizoram are getting a new lease of life thanks to the efforts of the Mizo youth. Canvas today unveils the rhythm and beat of the Mizo lifestyle.
Blue mountains, a gorgeous array of flora and fauna, the hushed wonder, the serenity, the land of tranquil loveliness. This is Mizoram. Mizos love to dance. The dancers express their vigor, their spirit. It is in these dances that one can glimpse their tribal heritage. Changlai Son is a popular Mizo folk dance. This is the dance of the Pavi community. It essentially celebrates the bringing home of trophies after a successful hunt. As the hills rise higher, the woods grow denser with cranes and creepers. This exotic land of varied terrain is filled with bamboo groves. With bamboos, they make their huts, their flutes, their bridges. The chero, or bamboo dance. The dancers move by stepping alternately in and out from between and across a pair of horizontal bamboos held against the ground. The bamboos, when clapped, produce a sharp sound which forms the rhythm of the dance. With ease and grace, the dancers step in and out to the beats of the bamboos. The patterns and steppings of the dance have many variations. At times, they imitate the movements of birds, at times, the swaying of trees. The natural beauty of this land of lush tropical forests today coexists in perfect harmony with the day-to-day lives of the Mizos. Despite the Western lifestyle, the cultural tradition of Mizos has weathered the onslaught of change. It has retained its intensity, its sheer loveliness. Kulam, a Mizo dance for the guest, is performed to the rhythmic beat of a set of gongs known as darbu. The dancers are dressed in traditional Mizo attire with red and green stripes known as puandam. Kol in Mizo language means a guest, and lam stands for dancing, and kulam is the dance for the guest.
The Loktak Lake has been a zone of social and economic activity in Manipur. This water body plays a prominent role in the day-to-day life of the people here. We now have for you a special story on life around Loktak.
Feet tap to the beat of the drums. The choir boys and girls are singing their prayers in a church which floats on the shimmering water of Loktak Lake. The Loktak Pat Emmanuel Church is perhaps the only floating church in the country. Surrounded by blue-green hills and exotic landscape, the life in Manipur's largest freshwater lake, Loktak, simply drifts. In this miniature inland sea live the lake people. Small boats ferry the inhabitants of the lake. The dwellers of the Loktak Lake have built their huts on the small islands that are actually floating weed. On these floating islands, the people of Loktak Lake raise multiple crops. The total span of the Loktak is 256 square kilometers. Also, the Loktak hydroelectric project is supplying power to Manipur, Nagaland, Assam and Tripura. Today, Loktak is the core of all-round development of Manipur. But all is not beautiful in Loktak Lake. There is a major danger of silting on account of the extensive deforestation. The silt get deposited in the lake bed. Various varieties of weeds, particularly the water hyacinth of South American origin, are found extensively over the lake, adding to the siltation. The government has decided to take steps to preserve the ecological balance. The decision is taken not only from a conservational point of view, but also due to the reason that the lake is a source of livelihood for the villagers living around, who fish and gather water plants here. Fishing, however, is the major source of livelihood of these lake people. In fact, all of them are fishermen. As the dawn breaks and the first rays of sun reflect on the sparkling blue water of the lake, the fishermen set out. They spread their nets on the vast span of Loktak Lake. They take their catch to the local market to earn their livelihood.
मछली है नहीं है बोल रहा है देखा है ये तो पीछे में ये मीना के पीछे में ये तो कपड़ा राउंड करेगा राउंड करके एक दिन में ये तो खोलेगा जब तक खोलेगा ही ना और राउंड करेगा जब तक खोलेगा और एक दिन में मछली पकड़े की तैयारी करेगा और सब लोग 10 आदमी और 11 आदमी में ये कपड़ा है ना ये तो अंदर में रखेगा ये तो इधर जाएगा इधर घूमने का है ना ये तो मछली जाल में रखा है और पकड़ा है और बाजार में जाएगा बिक्री करेगा चावल लेगा खाएगा
The day's work done, the lake people return to their small little abodes, floating on the river Loktak. With the dying rays of the setting sun, the silhouette of the fishermen cruising back on their boats enhances the beauty of Loktak Lake.
Udaipur, a landmark in the history of Tripura, was once the capital of the mighty Manakya dynasty. This ancient city that has the age-old imprints of secularistic society is our destination this week.
Udaipur, once the seat of power for Tripura's ancient rulers, today is a famous pilgrim spot. The Sundari Temple, or Mata Bari, is believed to be one of the holiest of Hindu shrines. The tank, situated among the temples, is believed to be one of the holiest of Hindu shrines. Udaipur was once the capital of Tripura's mighty Manakya dynasty. Remnants of the royal palace lie scattered as mute witnesses of Tripura's princely past. The archaeologists, in their bid to preserve the historical relics from disintegration, have uprooted the trees which had taken deep roots into the remaining walls of the palace. Udaipur is placed for pilgrimage for both Hindus and Muslims. In the eastern part of Udaipur is the Dargah of Badar Sahib. The tomb of an Auliya saint, Badar Sahib, symbolizes the secular India. Both Hindus and Muslims come to the Dargah to offer their prayers. Bhuvaneshwari temple was built by Maharaja Govind Manakya. Temple is immortalized through Tagore's poem Visarjan. The repair of the temple is in progress. The salt-affected bricks were replaced and the damaged floor was repaired by the archaeological department. Some of the temples which lie in ruins were of the 14 gods and goddesses, the ancestral deities of the rulers. It is believed that human sacrifice in front of the deities was a part of the rituals. Udaipur today stands out not only as a pilgrimage, but reflects the glorious past of Tripura. The historical monuments strewn in this erstwhile capital of Tripura throws light on the life and culture of the mighty Manakyas. The turtles, considered sacred, are worshipped by the pilgrims. Situated on the bank of river Gumti and surrounded by the lush green forest, Udaipur beckons you. Destination information. Road link. Udaipur is 55 kilometers south of Agartala. Udaipur is connected by daily bus service from Agartala. Rail link. Nearest railway station is Kumarghat. Buses and taxis are available from Kumarghat. Airport. Nearest airport is Agartala. Vayudut and Indian Airlines offer daily services from Calcutta and Guwahati. Hotels. All hotel facilities are available at Udaipur. Tourist tips. Tourists are advised to make arrangements in advance.